The Bain Coliseum in Los Angeles, California, the scene, a crowd of some 50,000 to see the Buffalo Bills and the Los Angeles Raiders. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with Bob Trumpy. Two teams that ended streaks last week. Miami stopped the string of wins by Buffalo against the AFC East at 17, and the Raiders finally won one. They had lost 8 in a row, their longest losing streak in 30 years. How about today?
Raiders, even though they got a little resuscitation last week, I'm not sure that they're really fixed. Judging what you did last week against the Giants, applying it to the Bills this week, I don't think works. For Buffalo, on the other hand, Dick, this has happened to them before. They have a very good history of, after losing a football game, rebounding with an excellent performance. I don't think it bothers Buffalo.
And Buffalo will get the ball first. Jagers kick halfway into the end zone, and Buffalo plays it at the 20. The offense of the Bills: Wolford, Richard, Hull, Parker, Ballard. Big, effective offensive line. They draw raves from opposing coaches. Kelly tied for the league lead in touchdown passes. Thurman Thomas, the all-purpose yardage leader. Gardner, the blocker. Lofton and Reed outside. Metzelaars, the tight end, the 3 wide. They bring in the tough little special teamer, Steve Tasker. Kent Hull injured against Miami last week, but okay, he starts. Both centers, in fact, Don Mospar of the Raiders was nicked last week as well. A gain of a couple for Thurman Thomas against the Bandit defense. The front 5 of Anthony Smith, Howie Long. Nolan Harrison had 2 sacks against the Giants. Andre Bruce, the former Falcon. Anthony Bell, he'll be the man shadowing Thomas today. Terry McDaniel, Lionel Washington at the corners. And not time to introduce the rest because that hurry-up offense of Buffalo. 2nd and 8. Gardner. He's smothered. No gain. Howie Long, number 75. The veteran can still attack. And coaches say Long and his bull rushes as tough as when he was an Oakland Raider, and he's the last of the Oakland Raiders in uniform. And there's Anthony Bell. He's looking for Thurman Thomas. First pass situation. 3rd down and 8. Out of the hands of Metzelaars. It was Anthony Bell on the tight end. And Marv Levy's Bills will have to punt.
But I think even though they don't get a first down on the first series here, Dick, big key, watch Jim Kelly. Throws the ball with great authority. No problem. This ball surprises Metzelaars. Gets to him a little quick. But Jim Kelly with a broken bursa sack. He has an elbow brace on and also a pad, but he threw the ball well on that first one.
Tim Brown, good average this year, 13.4. Chris Moore, 39.3 punting average, and he just gets it away, and it's a beauty. Hammers it all the way back to the 28. And Brown with a flag down is to the 43, but we would suspect they'll bring that one back on the Raiders. A 51-yard Chris Moore punt.
Dick, that penalty is going to be against the Raiders, and the illegal use of the hands on Steve Tasker. On every special teams play, Tasker is the back.
Illegal use of hands, pushing the back. Number 25 on the return.
Dan Land, the guilty party. Pat Haggerty is our referee today. Jim Kelly's right elbow, a bursal sack in that right elbow. Was ruptured last week trying to make the tackle of Louis Oliver when Oliver went 103 yards with an interception for a touchdown. But Kelly says, hey, I play with pain. Don't you remember? I am a quarterback with a linebacker instinct.
Yeah, it probably taught him, and he certainly knows this, that when you throw interceptions, you are expected to make the tackle, and you do tend to get injured trying to make tackles.
So instead of the 43 with the hands penalty, it starts at the 22. Raiders first possession. Todd Marinovich, the young quarterback. Willie Gold in motion. Marinovich lofts it. And Kelso knocks it away, but there'll be interference called. Nate Odoms and Mark Kelso colliding with Willie Gold.
Dick, I think it's interesting that the first snap from scrimmage that The Los Angeles Raiders run is from I formation.
Defensive pass interference, number 37. Defense, first down.
35-yard penalty.
And what happens from I is that Buffalo thinks run. Galt, with his great speed, gets down the field. That's obviously pass interference. I could, give him a little more. That was obvious.
They wouldn't even boo that one in Buffalo.
No.
First down at the Bills' 43. Dickerson in motion, takes the toss, and he's chopped down. Good aggressive play by Cornelius Bennett, a 4-time Pro Bowler, the mid-range missile of the Buffalo Bills. Wilkerson, Wisniewski, Mosbar has a bad ankle. Pete McElroy takes over for Steve Wright at the right side tackle position. Smith and Dickerson behind Marinovich. Galt and Brown the speed outside. Ethan Horton, Pro Bowler last year, a tight end. Marcus Allen and Mervyn Fernandez come in pass situations. On second down, it's to Dickerson. And they don't throw much to Eric Dickerson. He has a first down. Darryl Talley, the nearest Bills defender.
Again, Dick, when you look at the Los Angeles Raiders, one of the things that jumps out at you is from split backs or opposite backs, everybody's a receiver. That time, Dickerson out in the flat. Excellent throw by Marinovich. It looks like zone coverage by Buffalo. Not well done. Darryl Talley, 56. You'll see him at the top of the screen. He holds up Ethan Horton and then allows Dickerson out there in the flat. Good completion.
Only the 4th catch by Dickerson this year. Good enough for a first down. So at the 33-yard line, the Raiders with a new set of downs. Eric Dickerson, while he is a good receiver, and earlier in his career with the Rams caught a lot of passes, you can see 264 in his career, seldom used in that capacity with Los Angeles Raiders. A little delay, and then Dickerson almost losing the ball. You could see a lot of it as he was smothered shy of the 30-yard line by these white jersey defenders for Buffalo. Bruce Smith, he'll be all over that defensive line trying to find a gap. Jeff Wright on the nose. Phil Hansen, the youngster from North Dakota State. Talley, Bailey, Conlon, Bennett. Excellent set of linebackers in Buffalo. Kirby Jackson for the injured James Williams at the left corner. Nate Odoms at the other. Jones and Kelso, the safeties. Kurt Schultz and Chris Hale, the extra backs in the dime. Second and long. Dickerson. First down at the 17-yard line.
To the 16. Run out of bounds.
The one thing you can't do against Eric Dickerson, and this is true throughout his career, is drop the containment. You've got to keep him inside, and you see Bennett, 97, gets sucked in there, and once Dickerson gets around the corner, still has the great speed to get upfield.
Dickerson, who needs just 72 yards today to pass Tony Dorsett and become the number 2 rusher all time behind Walter Payton. He has 18 so far. On first down, Dickerson again. Moves the pile a yard. He's inside the 15. Bruce Smith and Shane Conlon collaborate on the tackle. Marcus Allen used sparingly. There are rumors about him being traded. The fact he didn't play last week against the Giants. They don't want him to be injured. But I talked with Al Davis and said he has no serious bidders out there. They're concerned about Marcus Allen's high salary late in a great career. And I also asked him, how about Al Toon for Greg Townsend, as we heard Will McDonough on NFL Live. He said, no way. And there was another word in between them.
We get the point.
Intercepted by Jones in the end zone. He takes it out. Looking for some blocking. One man to beat over there, Willie Galt, and he can't do it. His flags go down. Galt may have taken him down with a face mask, and Davis doesn't like that. Bad choice by quarterback Marinovich. Henry Jones has his 5th interception of the year.
Well, one of the problems you have with a young quarterback, Dick, and Marinovich certainly qualifies, is they don't see the field yet. The game of professional football just moves so quickly, sometimes you even miss a defender. And I think in the case of...
We had the runner stepping out of bounds, but then we had a continuing action foul, 15-yard face mask enforced from the dead ball spot.
The dead ball spot was down inside the 10, and here's Marinovich.
See, there's Jones, number 20, in the front part of the picture there. He just reading Marinovich's eyes, makes the break to the football. You saw Jones step out of bounds. That's why it goes back to inside the 10.
And then Galt uses a little extra face bar to get him down on the ground. So they'll mark it out of bounds down around the 5, and then Pat Haggerty will take it with a 15-yard penalty close to the 20. They'll call it the 19-yard line, is where Jones, who now leads the NFL with 5 interceptions, gets the Bills out of deep trouble.
That pass was intended for the tight end Ethan Horton. This young man, when the season began, was the big concern for the Buffalo Bills in the defensive backfield. He picked on Marinovich. Buffalo has the ball. The interception, primary receiver Ethan Horton runs the out and up. Here's Jones. He just read Todd Marinovich's eyes. And again, a young quarterback locks onto a receiver. Jones in total zone is looking right where Marinovich is looking. The interception made easily, and then he steps out of bounds right there. But Buffalo does stop the drive and get the ball.
At the 19 after the 15-yard face mask penalty, the big fullback Gardner in motion. Thurman Thomas shot down at the 20-yard line, only a gain of 1. Veteran Bob Golick, number 79, and Howie Long on the stop. Art Shell, those are the numbers that have made it a long start of this 92 season. A -11 in those 4 losses and turnovers. And last week only gave it away once, took it away, and were able to manage a victory against the Giants. Kelly completes to Andre Reed, and Kelly may be hurt as he was hit right on that elbow. He's a tough guy, but you wonder how tough.
The broken bursa sac, that's the fluid that's in the elbow that makes things work smoothly. Let's see who gets on him here. 70. Well,
Nolan Harrison.
I think he lands on the elbow, and that's what affects it a little bit. Now, there's no structural damage. All he has to do is, you're right, Dick, withstand the pain.
Andre Reed with his first catch today. Now Thurman Thomas dancing, but the partners are all in black and silver, and Terry McDaniel comes up from the corner to make the hit. More on Andre Reed, if we will. Reed, who doesn't get the national fanfare that some of the other receivers do. All he's done this year is lead the league in yardage and in passes caught. 33 now in the season. He's on a pace to catch 120 balls this year.
One of the toughest, mentally and physically toughest receivers there is in the league, Dick.
2nd and 9. Nothing there for Thomas. Tries to ad-lib and draws a huge crowd. Greg Townsend, one of those in the charge.
Well, this does not bode well for Buffalo. One of the things that I think is the secret for Buffalo's success is this young man running the football. You can see a lot of people going to the ball. The defensive line of Raiders not trying for penetration, just standing up those offensive linemen.
2 plays, no gain. 3rd and 10. Thomas has only 3 yards rushing. Kelly hit from the backside and able to dump it off incomplete to Metzelaars. No penalty. There was a man there, and Kelly slow getting up again.
Dick, looked like the referee motioned that he was going to call a sack, but he didn't.
Oh, he is marking it down at the 25-yard line.
Again, great pressure from the outside. It's Anthony Smith who gets outside Will Wolford, 69. Kelly still tries to make a play out of it, but it does count as a sack.
Chris Moore to punt. Tim Brown at the other end. Low liner. That's returnable at the 33. 45. He's to the 50-yard line. So the Raiders, who drove it downfield with the opening kickoff, only to be intercepted in the end zone, start their next series at midfield. No score. 8:16 left in the opening quarter. Raiders start with the ball just on their half of the 50. No score. Dickerson, the lone running back, and he gets it and picks up 5 yards. No score in Los Angeles. A final score, we go to New York.
Dick, at Miami, the Dolphins come from behind, down at 1 point, 17-7. They take the lead and hold on this 1-yard touchdown run by Mark Higgs, 21-17. So the Dolphins are now 5-0 in this, the 20th anniversary season of their perfect campaign of 1972. Meanwhile, Philadelphia loses at Kansas City, so the Dolphins are the only undefeated team left. Back out to the West Coast.
All right, Bob, and Jackson got a touchdown for Miami, not Keith today. Vesti on an interception. Dickerson, the workhorse in the first drive, and they give it to him again. And he's inside the 40 for a first down. 6 carries, 32 yards for Eric Dickerson, who needs only 40 more to become the #2 all-time NFL rusher.
Appears to me to be playing with a little inspiration here. Running to the line of scrimmage just a little bit harder, Dick. And again, Eric Dickerson, one of the game's greatest cutback players, was in college when he played at SMU.
At the 39. Wide open, Willie Gault. And Gault down at the 9-yard line.
Nate Odoms, a man in coverage. Excellent move at the line of scrimmage, and that gets the separation. Gault away from Odoms. And of course, with the excellent speed, hard to bump and run these guys. If you don't get the bump, they're going to run all over you. Here's Bruce Smith and the attention he gets every week. Wilkerson hits him. Steve Smith hits him. This guy draws more blockers than you can possibly imagine in any one game.
31 yards on the play. It's 1st and goal at the Buffalo 8. Dickerson drives to the 5-yard line. Bruce Smith and others to haul him back.
Well, early stages of the game, Archell's got to be happy with the running game. Sets up a lot of the play action. Gault out in the flat. Buffalo can't be happy about anything. Their run defense not performing very well, and they're not running the ball on offense.
And didn't run it well last week against Miami. Horton and Andrew Glover now, pair of tight ends, as Marinovich taking a lot of time with a signal coming in from the sidelines. Tom Walsh now calling the plays. Terry Rubisky had been for the last couple of years. 2nd and goal. Dickerson to the 2. Jeff Wright, the nose tackle.
Dick, this is the old look Los Angeles Raiders. Beat you up at the line of scrimmage. Bow your neck and fire out there. Mosbar 72. Excellent job by Wisniewski, 76.
And the lead block, Steve Smith, number 35, like Tony Page of the Miami Dolphins. He is terrific on those linebackers. Now David Jones comes in, 3 tight ends, 3rd and goal. Dickerson.
They're doing, but they're certainly tricking the Buffalo Bills. There's no question about that. We'll show you the touchdown. Dickerson, he's not on the goal line package.
Jager adds the extra point at 7-0, and Dickerson has only his 6th career touchdown catch.
It's very easy out in the flat. Good fake by Marinovich. Holds everybody at the line of scrimmage. Excellent catch. Nice throw. Boy, that's a shock. That is a shock.
5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Marinovich and the Raiders celebrate the lead. You saw those catches for Eric Dickerson, but rarely thrown two down on the goal line. Only a 6th touchdown reception. Henry Jones, an interception earlier, but the Buffalo defense unable to stop Dickerson on that drive, 50 yards. It comes down to Eddie Fuller at the 1. And stopped at the 19, and a flag goes down.
The kickoff from the 1-yard line. Brought down by Dave Weber.
Let's go back to the touchdown.
Well, you saw Jones sitting on the sideline. He's the man who was picked on here. They run a nice little fake dive. Dickerson out in the flat becomes the receiver. It's sold well by Glover 87, and just taking advantage of a young man who's not seen that a lot. You also look at personnel as a defense as to what you have to defense. Dickerson not being part of the goal line package, they weren't sure what they were getting there, and it ends up being 6 points, Dick.
3.
Block in the back against Buffalo on the kickoff return, so they'll start at the 9-yard line. Meanwhile, Eric Dickerson has been the workhorse in the first quarter for the Raiders. His number called on 10 of 12 scrimmage plays. It has been Dickerson's day thus far, and he's paid off with a touchdown and had them in position for a second one, only to have Marinovich intercepted by Jones in the end zone.
Appears energized this weekend.
Thurman Thomas at the 10-yard line. Winston Moss, Miami of Florida. Oh, and those Hurricanes have been something, haven't they? With Kent Hull injured, and we now get a report that hamstring he pulled last week against Miami bothering him. He won't return. Mitch Farad has replaced him. Kelly. Oh, a dangerous pass. It's intercepted. He caught it. McDaniel, I believe. No, they're going to say incomplete. It looked as if McDaniel might have caught that one before it hit the ground.
I agree with you.
But he isn't acting as though there's any disappointment. He must have known he trapped it.
That ball's intended for Andre Reed, right side of the screen. Looked like Land is the one who makes the hit. 25.
Yes, it does bounce.
Good call. Excellent call.
So Buffalo escapes a big error there on a huge hit from Land. Third and long.
Nick, they're sure not functioning well. Thurman Thomas looks tentative. Kelly's bad elbow.
Brad Lamb split left. Both Lofton and Reed right. Reed in the slot. Oh, this crowd, so unlike Los Angeles. They're really trying to help the Raiders. Kelly goes deep to Lofton. He's open. Oh my, just missed connections. Dan Land was beaten on the play.
Isn't that like the Buffalo offense, though? Trailing 7-0, let's turn loose one of our speedsters. Boy, you don't see James Lofton miss many like that, especially against a team he formerly played with. He likes to rub it in to the Los Angeles Raiders.
Now Kelly knows he can't throw it any better than that. So Moore kicking for the third time in this opening quarter. Oh, he would have had it blocked. He can kick it now, and for some reason he doesn't. And he's going to make the first down. That's the reason at the 21-yard line. Oh, a gamble by Chris Moore, not known for his running talent at the University of Alabama. So Kelly and the offense comes back on.
From the outside, looks like Elvis Patterson, 43. Boy, the Raiders made a huge mistake there. There's always somebody checking on the punter to make sure he doesn't run down the field. Patterson almost makes the play, and then Moore escapes. Goodness.
3:46 left in the first period here in Los Angeles, where Buffalo trails 7-0. Underneath the throw and to the 27-yard line. The completion to Andre Reed. Winston Moss, the tackler.
Sometimes very small plays ignite a football team. You can't give Buffalo more than their normal opportunity to get the ball down the field.
Running out of his own end zone. Kelly off to Thomas. Gets a good block. And Thomas all the way to the 46-yard line. Jim Richer through the block.
Quick screen here run by Buffalo. They use Thurman Thomas in so many different fashions. From behind the defense, watch the left guard pull out. Oh, this is the punt, excuse me. This is Chris Moore advancing the punt. Sets up that next 19-yard run. First down. We'll give you the screen in a minute.
They call it 20 yards for Thomas, who picks up some more into Raider territory and a first down as he's to the 43-yard line. Now that's the Thurman Thomas that has racked up the most yardage from scrimmage in the NFL the last 3 years, and he leads here in the 4th consecutive season, which would break Jim Brown's mark. But had a tough week last against Miami. Gained only 33 yards rushing. Has but 14 today. Given a breather by Levy. Kenneth Davis comes in. First time in Raider territory for Buffalo. 2:08 left in the opening quarter. Underneath the Metzelaars, and the tight end from Wabash College has about 8 more. Anthony Bell, the tackler.
Well, you see the options that the Buffalo offense has. They run a screen to Thurman Thomas. They run him on a sweep. They throw back to Andre Reed, and then they get Metzelaar. Everywhere you look on this offense, big weapons for Jim Kelly.
Second down, 2.5. It's Reed, who runs so well after the catch. A first down to the 23-yard line. That's his 3rd grab in the opening period. First down, Buffalo.
Amazing. The Raiders had him stopped, too. 4th down and 9. And here they are at the Raider 23-yard line.
Hurry up offense. Kenneth Davis on the draw. And he powers his way to the 15-yard line. A gain of 8 more before Ronnie Lott can make the stop.
You know, Dick, we've talked several times about the age of the Los Angeles Raiders playing in this heat against a hurry-up offense. Any age on this defense is going to show, and show in a hurry.
Howie Long, one of those. He's 32, 12th season. Lott is in his 12th year. Davis looking for first down yardage. A stop short. Anthony Bell makes another tackle, assisted by Anthony Smith. I talked with Al Davis before the game, and they asked him about his team, and I point blank said, "Are you too old?" He said, "If we had lost all these games, 4 games, and really lost them, then I'd say, yes, we're too old. But I think we could have won 3 of them." And he said, "The time I'll decide if we're too old is our record at our bye week, which is after the 8th game." And I said, "You mean if you're 2-6 and you've been beaten in those games, you're too old?" He said, "Yep, and you can get young in 15 minutes." The NFL. 12th play of the drive as they look for the first down, and Thurman Thomas over the top. Pushed back. Let's see where they mark it. They got Carwell Gardner going for the first down. And Ricky Ellison, number 50, spearheaded that tough Raider charge.
Excellent job by the Los Angeles Raider defensive line. Eddie Anderson coming from that free safety, that strong safety, fired in there. Not much push here by Buffalo. It's
Kenneth Davis. It was Davis, yes.
Excellent job by the Raider defense. But, Dick, I got to tell you, even though they may not have enough here, I think Buffalo's got to go for it.
That is the end of the first quarter at the Coliseum, with the Raiders leading by a touchdown. Dick Enberg with Bob Trumpy at the Coliseum. The Los Angeles Raiders, an impressive first quarter for them, a touchdown, and we're driving for another, but intercepted in the end zone. Marv Levy's team finding life when Chris Moore, running out of his own end zone when he realized that Elvis Patterson had that ball blocked for a safety or another bigger score, ran for a first down, and now Buffalo has taken it all away to the Raider 13, and Levy has decided apparently to go for it on 4th and less than a yard. And you like the call?
Yes, I do. There's always the situation, too, as you see an extra offensive lineman, Thina, in there. He'll be a tight end. There's always the situation where you can try to draw the Raiders off sides. And when you're on the road, you lost last week, you're always trying to fire your football team up. Marv Levy likes inspiration to his football team. This is a good opportunity to do so.
And he likes play action and throw to the tight end. And Fina is an eligible receiver. Now it's Thomas. He's got the first down to the 9. And saving a touchdown was Eddie Anderson.
That says a lot, I think, about Marv Levy's trust in his offense. Excellent block by 88 Metzelaars, 86 Awalt. Outstanding lead block by Carwell Gardner. They only got to get about 2.5 feet. They certainly get enough to keep the drive alive.
Almost the full 10 to go on 1st and goal. Little misdirection, and it's Thomas. Ran right into Greg Townsend after a gain of 2. Greg Townsend, who grew up near the Coliseum in Compton, California, now has a sports bar there about 1.5 miles from his home, and part of the area ravaged by the riot, part of the rebuilding of this city. And Greg checking in late, was way overweight, but has lost most of that poundage, now playing at about 260. Kelly to Metzelaars. Ronnie Lott and Eddie Anderson, the 2 safeties, collaborate at the 4. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Metzelaars a big target at over 6'7". He's easy to find for Kelly right over the middle. Double coverage by the safeties.
Kelly taking his time now, and late arrival is Steve Tasker, who literally throws Brad Lamb off the field. Tasker and Lofton to the left. Seems to be some confusion on the part of Buffalo. Plenty of time, 15 seconds on the play clock. Toss to Thomas. Didn't fool the Raiders a bit. Terry McDaniel.
Dick, they bring Tasker in because, among other things, he's an excellent blocker. Watch him come in motion. He's going to hit the outside man. That outside man is 94. He weighs about 285 pounds, but Terry McDaniel reads the motion, is right there to fill.
Loss of 5 yards in the play. Buffalo is 0 for 4 on 3rd down in this first half, and McDaniel forcing Buffalo to go for the field goal now as Steve Christie is in. He's 8 for 9 in his new home. A 25-yarder. Out of Frank Reich's hold. It is just good as he slides it through that right side. Buffalo on the board. 12:33 left in the first half. A sense of desperation in the LA Raider camp. They're 1-4. They feel they're much better than that. A lot of questions. Even Al Davis has admitted there's some cracks. I see some cracks for the first time in a long time. And I'm going to try to patch them up. Victory and winning will do that more than anything else. They lead 7-3. Buffalo getting the field goal from Christie, and Land will take it on the touchback at the 20-yard line. And we remind you, from the NFL to top tennis action on NBC, 16 of the greatest of all time will be in action next Saturday at the Jeep Eagle ATP Senior Tour Championships. Oh, what names? Borg, Laver, Nastasi, Smith, Dibbs, Stolle, Tanner, Drysdale. That's all next Saturday here on NBC at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Todd Marinovich ready to go to work. There are his numbers in this first half. The interception was in the end zone, the 5th of the year by safety man Henry Jones of Buffalo. To hit the tight end, and flags are down. Ethan Horton was the target. Matt Haggerty to sort out the foul.
Defensive holding, number 37, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Nate Odoms, who has an interference penalty that was 35 yards, now gets called for defensive holding, trying to stop Willie Gault on the near sidelines. Automatic first down.
Not having a good day in this matchup with the tremendously fast Willie Gault. Yeah, you see he grabs his jersey, tries to basically undress him. Notice, too, that Todd Marinovich rolling out is something that they haven't, the Raiders have not featured with Jay Schrader, but they believe that Marinovich is very good throwing the ball on the run. We'll try to keep him away from the pass rush a little bit with that rollout. Dickerson trying to
give him a running start, setting him in motion so that when he takes that toss, he's already at full gear, ready to cut upfield, pick his spot. Gain of a couple.
At SMU, they ran the I. When he was with the Rams, they ran the I. When he was in Indianapolis, they ran the I, and that hurt the Raiders. If they don't line up in the I, they try to get him in the I to give him the ball. 7.5, 8 yards deep. Build up a little foot speed. But today, I mean, it looks like somebody nominated Dickerson. This is your day. We're going to give it to you until you get the record, or we win, or both.
2nd and 8. On the sidelines by Mervin Fernandez, but he was juggling the ball. That was an excellent effort. Good coverage from Kirby Jackson, who went for the interception. And Fernandez almost with a terrific play.
Little square out. Jackson there in coverage. Doesn't have it yet. It looks like his right foot is already out of bounds. See if we can see his right foot. He does a good job of at least hanging on to the ball. Looks like Jackson does make contact. Right foot, no, it's inbounds. Whoa, I think if they looked at that again in previous years.
Yes, but they're not, so we go on with the action. It's at the 27-yard line. 3rd down and 8. Winovich. Great throw, terrific catch, first downs. Mervin Fernandez near midfield, 21 yards. Conlon and Jones with the tackle.
Again, this bump and run coverage, if it's going to work, you as a defensive back, you've got to manhandle that receiver, control where he's going. And if you're going to have bump and run, let him release outside. You certainly can't let that receiver get inside. Excellent pass protection. And Marinovich makes an easy completion to Fernandez.
Fernandez, who's been the top receiver for the Raiders 2 of the last 3 years. The 57 and the 52, had 46 last year, was the number 2 receiver, but used sparingly this year. Fake toss, Marinovich going for 6. And even Galt couldn't catch that one. Those of you who were with us a couple of weeks ago for the Cleveland game, we showed you Todd Marinovich's artwork. He really has some talent. It was a sketch of Ken Stabler, very real sketch of Stabler. Of course, the left-hander, the number 12 of Oakland Raider lore. And he's a young man, so he switches in a hurry. He's already left the sketching, he told us.
Yeah, speaking of switching, he's moved to oils and Jimi Hendrix. I asked him, which is more like you, the pencil drawing of Ken Stabler or Jimi Hendrix? And he says, definitely Jimi Hendrix.
No surfing though yesterday, you noticed. Throw incomplete. Manhandled was Fernandez as Cornelius Bennett and Shane Conlon, a pair of big backers in there to bat it away.
Unusual that Cornelius Bennett is even back in coverage. The Buffalo Bills like to keep him rushing the passer as best they can. He should have caught that. Ball was intended for Mervin Fernandez. Linebacker coverage. Boy, if Biscuit would have had that, it would look like that tight end he almost was in Alabama and was in high school.
Marcus Allen in the backfield, 3rd and 10. Tim Brown, one man to beat. Kelso. Kelso won't catch him. Touchdown.
That's certainly been established in this first half. Bump and run coverage against the Raiders today by the Buffalo Bills is not working. Again, the receiver, the offensive player, he controls the contact between the defensive back and himself. And Tim Brown just runs away from the coverage for a nice touchdown.
52 yards for Brown. Culminates an 80-yard drive. Chambers' extra point is down the middle, and the Los Angeles Raiders. That was a terrific throw by Marinovich. That's about as hard a bullet that you're going to find from the red-headed kid, and it's 14-3 LA.
Here's the matchup. Watch the safety. I think he's keeping his eye on Marcus Allen. He looks a little too hard into that backfield and allows this square in to just work. And once this foot race starts, there aren't many defensive backs in the league that are going to keep up with Tim Brown, and he certainly is going to outrun Mark Kelso every single time.
So the Raiders very impressive on offense today. They had scored only 1 touchdown in each of their last 3 games. They had 2 today and lead 14-3. Too deep. The touchback taken by Kenneth Davis. Now Jim Kelly with that sore right elbow comes back on the field. Couple of finals earlier today that are of interest, especially the fans up in Buffalo. Dallas blanking Seattle as they recover and get healthy after that disappointment on Monday night in Philadelphia. And Kansas City defeats Philadelphia, the Eagles' first loss. So Kansas City and Dallas, 2 winners, 2 teams that both figure to be prominent in the playoffs. We'll have them for you at 12:30 Eastern next Sunday on NBC. Kelly, when wobbling, I believe that Andre Bruce from the backside rushing Kelly got a piece of the arm or the ball.
Well, that's certainly what they don't want to happen to Jim Kelly. Anybody messing with his throwing arm there. Already with a broken bursa. Yeah, Andre Bruce is celebrating the pressure on Jim Kelly.
They're very happy with Bruce. That was a terrific acquisition for them, Plan B from Atlanta this year. They feel he'll only get better learning to play on the that end position. The throw is to Lofton, and the veteran stripped to the ball and recovers his own fumble. A flag is down.
I think that's pass interference. I think that's offensive pass interference against Andre Reed. I think he played the pick a little too loudly.
Offensive pass interference, number 83.
Boy, it opened up beautifully for James Lofton. The flag came in right, but Andre Reed knows when you run the pick, you've got to be an actor. He wasn't good enough on this particular play. It's
so
just
instead
a simple
of a first down, they'll mark it all the way back to the 10-yard line. Here it is.
Here's Andre Reed. Here's the pattern. Look who he screens right here and gets caught. You can't do it this obviously. You know, if you turn your back, kind of fall down, the officials will buy it. They won't let you just stand there in front of the linebacker.
Even the first contact they might have overlooked, but not when you stayed with it. Thomas dropped for a 2-yard loss, and this crowd is starting to believe in the Raiders today.
Secret to Buffalo's offense, the ability of Thurman Thomas to run. Howie Long inside Ballard and Parker, 75 and 74. Then Anthony Smith there to string it out. The run is not working for Buffalo.
Thomas, 10 tries, 13 yards. Kelly on top. Brad Lamb, he's got it all the way to the Raider 36-yard line.
Goodness.
Torn Dorn and Brad Lamb from Little Anderson College of Indiana with a 53-yard play.
Came into the game averaging 15 yards a catch. No trickery here, just a foot race down the sideline. Kelly puts it right on the money. That is an easy completion 53 yards away.
They mark it at the 38-yard line. There's Lamb, who was a project last year. Great athlete, as a long jumper in college. Kenneth Davis in for Thurman Thomas. And they wrestle him down after a yard and a half. Anthony Smith, another play for the big guy from Arizona, and Anthony Bell. And we can't see the number there. It is Thurman Thomas.
He's got that knee brace on that he's worn for years since his surgery at Oklahoma State as a collegian.
Second and 8. Kelly. He's a man next to ours and a little too tall with Ronnie Lott covering. And the flag goes down. Lott may have been a little too rough on the play.
Every time we talk to Ronnie Lott, he gives you a little picture of just what's inside that kid.
You don't have to look very long into that face, those eyes, and say if you're picking sides and want to start a little backyard game. I'll take you. I don't even know your name. I'll take you. 42. He's a competitor written all over him, and we talked to him yesterday. He mentioned Hart how many times?
We have a personal foul on the defense. Number 42, a late hit. Personal foul enforced from the previous spot.
Yeah, he could have pulled up.
Yes, he could have. But that's certainly not the first time in Ronnie Lott's career that's happened, and it's part of the mystique, the image of Ronnie Lott. You come in here, I'll bang you. Sometimes as a player that is of his caliber, you'll take a penalty like that just to leave an impression on the receiver.
And part of the reason for the flag was not just the late hit, but it was up around the head. So Lott ticketed for 15 and a first down at the 21. Thurman Thomas back in, a triple right. Intercepted by McDaniel on the deflection. 30. And finally steps out of bounds at the Buffalo 39. His first interception of the year, and he takes it 46 yards.
He waits. You can see excellent coverage by Aaron Wallace, 51. Thomas just runs the outside pattern, the delay outside. Kelly throws it high. McDaniel turns it into a big play.
And the Raiders threatening to romp here in the first half. So the Raiders have their fans excited today, a 14-3 lead. The interception by McDaniel, and here's Marcus Allen threading his way to the 31-yard line, a gain of 8. Smith and Bailey, the tacklers. Jim Kelly intercepted 4 times last week by Miami to tie a career high. Picked off in the first half here today. Oh, that was a good play by 51.
Aaron Wallace, he's the man in coverage on Thurman Thomas. The ball slightly overthrown. Wallace does a good job with the hand on the arm. McDaniel comes up, pick, and again the Raiders excellent field position. Ball in their possession.
Marcus Allen's first carry in 2 games gets 8. And he gets nothing here. Trapped him in the backfield, and Carlton Bailey and others. Bruce Smith to make the stop.
A guy like Marcus Allen, you can talk about leadership. Last week before the Giant game, credited with no less than 3 players only meetings to try to right this franchise. He does so much more for this team off the field than he could probably ever accomplish on the field, and yet he's in someone's dog kennel, not house, not big enough, dog kennel here with the Los Angeles Raiders.
11 years ago, he earned the Heisman Award, senior at USC. 3rd and 2. And it's Marcus Allen, what he does so well on 3rd down. Out of bounds at the 20 with an 11-yard play.
Boy, he does a great job, too. All the influence is coming his way. Watch Marcus Allen. No, you can't quite see it, but Odom's 37 looked like he was going to get blocked by Marcus Allen. Marcus ran right by him and is out there for the reception. Nice, cute little play by the Los Angeles Raiders.
Raiders have been tough, Bob, on 3rd down plays. They're 4 for 4. Kid Allen, the all-time rusher for the Raiders, 431 catches. He's been a super player for this franchise. Lots of time for Marinovich. Now chased from behind. And the first sack of the day for Buffalo at the 25, Cornelius Bennett.
That's his first sack of 1992.
Amazingly, after 9 sacks last year to lead this Buffalo team to the Super Bowl and 4 forced fumbles. A big play man. Nearly had an interception earlier in this half and didn't quit on that play.
But you know, Marinovich had quite a bit of time. I mean, there was good pass protection for Marinovich when he finally rolled out. That's when Bennett finally came up with the sack.
Marcus Allen caught in the backfield by number 93, Keith Willis, the former Pittsburgh Steeler, acquired by the Buffalo Bills a few weeks ago. the veteran from Northeastern in his 10th year, knifing through, and with that charge deposits Allen with a couple-yard loss. It'll be third and about 17.
A lot. Willis acquired for his pass rush skills. Give Bruce Smith a break a little bit. More pressure on the offense from the other side of the field.
Marcus and Steve Smith behind Winovich. Going long for Horton, the tight end. And that'll bring up a field goal try by Jeff Jaeger, who beat the Giants last Sunday here at the Coliseum with a personal record 54-yarder. And that also tied the Raider record set way back in '61 by George Fleming.
George Fleming.
Got to go
when
back.
You said George, I thought for sure you said
no.
Blanda was coming next.
Yule Field days.
Yule Field, I've heard of. I apologize for not knowing the name George Fleming.
It will be a 45-yard attempt. Perfect. Raiders 17, Bills 3. In 5 previous Raider games, their high score 21, and that was in overtime against Cincinnati in their loss. This would have to be their best offensive show of the season. And Jaeger, for the 3rd time, denies the Bills a chance to run it out. And here comes Jim Kelly, the Buffalo thoroughbred. And that reminds me, next Saturday, NBC Sports takes you to Paris, the Arc de Triomphe, Europe's premier horse race. This 1.5 miles has been drawing the best thoroughbreds in Europe since 1920. And with $1.5 million in the purse, you can expect the best again, the best horses in Europe, a couple from the States as well. That's next Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern on NBC.
Wasn't that inside rail on that graphic on the wrong side of that picture?
Whoa, they run, let's see, we run counterclockwise and they run clockwise.
That explains it.
From the 20. Kelly rips free and throws to Lofton. Oh, what a move by the veteran. And the former Raider Lofton breaking tackles to the 44. Running like a fullback, 24 yards, most of it after the catch.
Kelly does a great job at the outset here getting away from Anthony Smith, 94. James Lofton, just, you can't believe how old this guy is from the way he runs plays like this. Stays in shape.
5 Raiders missed him. And now Thurman Thomas. And that quick huddle offense may be exciting for Bills fans, but it just drives television directors and producers crazy.
How about analysts?
You can barely squeeze in a play, and they're off with another.
How about analysts?
Well, go ahead, say something.
I don't have time. It's about to be snapped.
2nd down and 6. Dump off to Thomas. And the fans on the far side, you can hear a groan, collective groan. They thought that there was holding on that block as Jim Richer was out there, the Pro Bowl guard of the Bills last season, number 51.
What they do is they have 2 options here. They can throw the screen with Richer out in front. And yes, he may have had a hold of the 51 of Aaron Wallace. If that's covered, they've also got a square in down the field. Jim Kelly has his choice.
3rd and 4. Andre Reed, and look at him dart through that little seam to the 32-yard line. And Kelly takes a pop as he delivers that 18-yard pass.
Dick, you can design defenses for football teams, but you can't design a defense to accommodate this many skilled position athletes. I mean, we've seen Thurman Thomas make a big play. That's Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator. And then Lofton makes a big play. And then Reed. You just can't defense all that Buffalo has here.
Thomas, another part of that weaponry. And finally toppled at the 24-yard line as Dan Land makes the tackle.
Nice delay. Excellent call. He cuts it back. The offensive line does a great job of just influencing where the defense is going to go. And they keep rolling. They're hard to defense continually. You can get them a drive or two.
7 yards on the play. Thomas close to a first down at the Raider 21-yard line. It's a very important possession for the Bills as time runs out in the first half and they trail by 2 touchdowns. Approaching the 2-minute timeout, 2:09. And both teams content to see the final seconds apparently tick away. No, they're going to stop the clock for the measurement. You can see, look at the Bills. They're really showing the effects of this hot sun. Temperature on the field in the 80s. It is a first down, Buffalo.
I think, though, the temperature may have an effect on this team, but I think they know how to rest when they get a rare opportunity to rest on offense.
2 minutes to go in the half. It's the Raiders by 14. 2 minutes to go in the half. Kelly and Buffalo needing a score. Is that an incomplete pass? Yes. Boy, very close to a fumble as Andre Bruce right on top of Kelly as he delivered.
Oh, they're not treating Jim Kelly's injured elbow very nicely here. His teammates up front got to give him more protection. You see Bruce from the outside. It's on House Ballard, 75. Oh, they're getting on him.
Howie along the other way. Kenneth Davis tried to catch the Raiders looking pass. They weren't fooled. A gain of 2 at best. Bruce and Wallace, linebackers, make the stop. So 3rd down and long. Clock running. Levy would like to use as much time as he can, and the Raiders may call the timeout. No, Buffalo will call the time. Buffalo uses its first timeout with 1:31 remaining in the half.
Last play, the pressure on Jim Kelly comes from up here. You see these 3 guys taking care of the center and the 2 guards. The pressure comes from the outside. What the Raiders are trying to do is single every offensive lineman on a defensive lineman or linebacker and just hope that they can beat him around the corner. That time, Andre Bruce does to knock that ball out of Jim Kelly's hand.
3rd down and 8. Kelly has Reed open, but Reed falls. It's incidental contact.
Boy, this is not the Raider team that the people in the Coliseum have seen here to this point in 1992. Double blitz. Aaron Wallace, 51 from the inside. Howie Long is not touched.
Yeah, it's remarkable that Kelly threw the ball so well and has. You can see even as he fell, he was really protecting that elbow. But Reed became entangled with Terry McDaniel, one of the most underrated cornerbacks in football. 37-yard attempt by Christie. So the Raiders have made it a complete package in this first half. The offense has been effective. The special teams now have made a big play, and the defense as well. The man celebrating is Anthony Bell, 59. Nolan Harrison was in there too, 74. A couple of the younger players. It was Harrison, second-year man from Indiana.
Pressure comes from up the middle, Dick. Andrew Glover, 87. A tight end is in there jumping up, but it looks like Harrison, the man in front, is the one who gets. Watch 87. He gets up. Harrison gets up. Yes, 74 with the left hand. And Marv Levy knows that this day has not started well.
.37-yard field goal by Christie, only the second that he has missed this year. And now the Raiders with plenty of time, and they have their timeout remaining. But conservative call. It's Dickerson. They may have lost a half yard. 1:10 left in this first half. The Raiders with a 17-3 lead. And at this point showing no inclination to use those timeouts.
Except that the Raiders have good memories. And last year these two teams played a game like this, very similar. Buffalo couldn't do anything right in the first half. The Raiders went in leading Second half, Raiders couldn't do anything right. Buffalo caught fire, won in overtime.
Raiders have moved the ball so well that Art Shell must have been tempted. The interception in the end zone after they'd driven to the 15, then touchdown, and field goal. While Buffalo, starting with poor field position the entire half, never outside their own 20, managing just a field goal. And Eric Dickerson wrestled down by Bruce Smith.
I think it's his first action of the day. First tackle, no sacks.
Buffalo uses a timeout with 24 seconds left in the half. So with one timeout left, they'll use that after the third down call, and change of possession will stop the clock, and they look for something magical to end the half.
Interesting next week, Mr. Enberg.
They'll be at Texas Stadium. The Cowboys 5-1, shutting out the Seahawks, and Kansas City with a very big victory at Arrowhead against the Philadelphia Eagles. So Miami is the only unbeaten team in the NFL, and you'll see them as well. Some of you will see New England, Miami, Houston, Denver. Raiders will be up at Seattle, but the big game, Kansas City and Dallas.
There's a goalie that plays for Philadelphia, right?
Yeah, they'll meet each other. Let's see, it'll be in November, about the second week in November. It'll be Bob Golick against his younger brother Mike. Says he already has asked Art Shell if he could play some guards so he can block his brother, who's a linebacker with the Eagles. Third and 13. And Marinovich uses a timeout.
Whoa, wait a minute. Something was wrong with either formation, personnel, but the Bills take a timeout, then Todd goes to the sideline, takes a timeout.
Well, that's a smart play for a young quarterback here, down deep in your own end with a good lead. You don't want to make a missed call and get Ditka-itis from Marshall. You don't want to throw it for a quick score down there, and Marinovich calls time to make sure.
Except I don't know if publicly Art Shell would ever jump on a player like Mike Ditka does. Now, Art Shell, being an ex-player, he has great respect from his players, and that's because he keeps things in-house.
Well, Ditka was a pretty good ex-player. They both went into the Hall of Fame, the same class. They're just different personalities. This man lets you know he's angry with a silent stare. He gets very, very quiet. Even happens to us sometimes.
Yes, it does. In our presence.
Third down, and Dickerson.
Oh, come on, Eric.
Goes down to 17 seconds as the clock stops.
Now, Eric Dickerson knows better than that. Stay inbounds, let the clock expire, even though there is a penalty flag down.
That gives Buffalo, if this is against the Raiders, an extra timeout to work with. They don't have to spend the timeout here. And Marv Levy says absolutely not. Make them punt the ball.
Sure. They got the clock stopped so they can try a punt block.
88 offense. 10-yard penalty declined. Fourth down.
Ethan Horton, the tight end, guilty of the hold. And to give you an idea of how well Todd Marinovich and this offense has functioned in the first half, this will be their first punt as Jeff Gossett comes on.
Well, there's certainly no question as to what the Buffalo Bills are going to do here. Try to block the punt.
Clifford Hicks, meanwhile, is deep for the Bills. Beautiful spiral toward the sidelines, and was he out of bounds? Yes. Hicks had his foot out of bounds at the 31-yard line. We understand that Thurman Thomas has already gone to the Bills locker room. Now we'll check on that injury. It's the knee, we understand. And Thomas was stopped by this Raider defense, 28 yards rushing in the first half. So Kelly, with one timeout and 9 seconds, can look perhaps for a big play along the sidelines and maybe a long field goal, or
hook and lateral.
Yeah, something that might bounce around and get a break on.
Yeah, you've got certainly speed. You've also got great athletic ability, but then every professional football team has that Actually, it looks like they're going to be very conservative. They've got the ponytail there. Just let's go in and regroup.
Now, this crowd at the Coliseum is happy with what they've seen from the home team. Art Shell's Raiders, best half of the season, leads 17-3. We'll be back after a message from the NFL and words from your local stations.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
Bob Costas back once again in New York with O.J. Simpson and Will McDonough. Coming up in the next segment, all the final scores from earlier with highlights and an update on the games in progress. But right now, let's just kick a few things around. Just one undefeated team remains, and it's a team celebrating the 20th anniversary of their perfect year, the Miami Dolphins.
Well, I think the thing that's different in Miami this year compared to last year and the last few years, Bob, is their defense. We saw it today. I think in other years, if you had the same game as they had today, with Atlanta having the ball, good offensively, a chance to come back, they would have beaten the Dolphins because the Dolphins weren't that good on defense. But this year, they have better players. Marco Coleman, Troy Vincent, linebacker Brian Cox back and playing well. Jerry Glanville told me before the game when I talked to him Friday, the best rookie, in his opinion, in this year's draft is Troy Vincent, the defensive back for Miami. He said he makes plays like Deion Sanders, and very few guys can do that.
Well, the defense started their comeback. They were trailing 17-7 in the third quarter when a Chris Miller pass was intercepted by Vesty Jackson. He brings it back for a touchdown. That makes it 17-14. Then Mark Higgs, midway through the fourth quarter, caps a drive, 1-yard scoring run. And as Will said, Juice, they held on. Atlanta came back and had the ball deep in Miami territory in the waning seconds, but the Dolphins held on downs.
Yeah, and you got to give them credit. They are playing much better defense, but you can't overlook the offense. They have so many weapons on offense. One unsung guy, Bobby Humphrey. I think he's playing the way he played a few years ago in Denver. Today, I found it curious that Keith Jackson really didn't have much of an effect on the game. I shouldn't say I find it curious. I sort of expected it. When you miss training camp, normally after 7-8 days, your legs go through a dead leg period, and I wouldn't expect much out of Keith, not only this week, but I don't expect much out of him next week. Then the legs come back, and he should contribute to this offense.
So the Dolphins win 21-17. They're 5-0, and they do have one tough stretch in the schedule coming up at mid-year where they got to play Houston, I think at New Orleans, and also a game with San Francisco. But other than that, they've got 2 games left with the Patriots, 2 games left with the Jets, 2 games left with the Colts, and they're already 5-0. They're in great shape.
They are, Bob. Like you said, they're tough stretches towards the end of the year. But I'll repeat it again. I think that what's bringing them to another level, a level they haven't been at in a long time, is they really helped themselves defensively this year. They have a lot of good defensive players that they didn't have before. They do not have the holes in their defense that they've had the last 3 or 4 years when they could score, but when they could not defend.
Yeah, but don't overlook this. You're throwing away this Indy game, the Jet games, and New England.
Well, they're not
These
guaranteed
are conference
wins.
games or division games, and normally when you play a team twice, they tend to play you tough. So those aren't going to be like walk-away games for Miami. Those guys play each other throughout their whole careers twice a year, and they'll be pretty tough games for them.
Philly drops from the ranks of the unbeaten after the tremendous win at home on Monday against Dallas. They lose at Kansas City today, 24-17, so Philly is 4-1. Kansas City, a very good team, is 4-2, and they could be 6-0. You know, they lost the game in Houston where they had the lead. They never should have blown the game last week at Denver, so they settle for 4-2, but they're a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs, and we'll see after this commercial break.
At the Coliseum, a pair of Todd Marinovich touchdown throws, and underdog Los Angeles leads Buffalo 17-3. All the scores and highlights coming up on NFL Live after these messages from your local station.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
And here we go with a quick run-through on the scores in the game you folks are watching. The Raiders clobbering the Bills. Maybe that's an overstatement, but in front by 2 touchdowns, 17-3 at the half. Marinovich with a pair of touchdown passes, and the Bills unable to shake out of the lethargy that began last week when they lost at home to the Dolphins. Houston is winning at Cincinnati late in the second quarter, 24-10. Warren Moon has thrown 3 touchdown passes. Indy has a halftime lead on a Dean Biasucci field goal over the Jets at the Hoosier Dome, 3-0. Now let's take a look at some highlights from games played earlier today, beginning in Dallas. Dan McGuire, starting quarterback for the Seahawks, knocked out. They were all all over him today. The Dallas defense shut Seattle down, and in the shutout victory, here's Michael Irvin grabbing a 20-yard pass that set up an Emmitt Smith TD. Smith had 2 TDs. Irvin was okay, shaken up, but got up, and Dallas wins 27-0. Deion Sanders letting everybody know he's arrived in Miami to play for the Falcons. They used him on defense, special teams, and here on offense. He catches a screen pass, picks up 9 yards, and set up an Atlanta field goal, but they relinquished a 17-7 lead, and Miami came back to win on this Mark Higgs touchdown run in the 4th quarter. They take it 21-17. Their record 5-0. Meanwhile, Deion flies back to Pittsburgh for the baseball game tonight. The Dolphins are the only undefeated team left because Marty Schottenheimer's Chiefs beat the Eagles today at Arrowhead. Their defense helped to do it. 5 first-half sacks against Randall Cunningham, 3 of them recorded by the great linebacker Derek Thomas. While on offense, David Craig threw 3 touchdown passes for the Chiefs, including this 74-yarder to a wide-open Willie Davis, put them up 21-3. Cunningham rallied the Eagles, but it was too late, and they lose 24-17. At Foxborough, Dick McPherson's Patriots actually had a lead in a game for the first time this year. In the 3rd quarter, they were up on the 49ers 12-10, but Steve Young, scrambling, found Ricky Waters for the touchdown. Waters had better than 100 yards rushing for the day, and the 49ers take their record to 5-1. The Pats are 0-5, 24-12, San Francisco. On to Cleveland. Bernie Kosar sidelined with the broken ankle, and the Browns now down to their 3rd quarterback, the former Bear Mike Tomczak. On this play, Pittsburgh's offsides. It's a free play in effect. Tomczak pumps once, then finds Michael Jackson all alone, 47-yard TD, and the Browns win at home over the Steelers 17-9. At the Meadowlands in New Jersey, Phil Simms in the warm-up close along the sideline. He faces elbow surgery. The Giants need somebody else to step up on offense, and today that man was Rodney Hampton, who had 167 yards rushing, including the 63-yard TD against Phoenix, and the Giants avoid the division seller by beating the Cardinals 31-21.
Team in the first half, the Raiders 17-3, and this is the kind of game that fans and players have been looking for.
There's no question when you talk to the Los Angeles Raiders, they believe that they still got the players to play the positions, and in this first half, they're proving it. They're
doing Cutter halftime stats. There are the numbers.
You can see the rushing yards by Buffalo, I think, is one of the most telling statistics. When Buffalo does not run the ball, it was certainly proven last week against Miami that Buffalo doesn't have a real chance to sustain any drive. Dick, I ask you this question when it comes to Buffalo running the ball. I wonder if the injury to Kent Hull has some effect on that. Mitch brought in there. The center generally makes calls, not only for the running play, but also for pass protection. We've seen Kelly pressured throughout this first half. It is not working for Buffalo. It's working beautifully for the Raiders.
Well, Todd Marinovich, he's been protected well, had a lot of time. And, of course, they're using that 3- and 5-step drop with Marinovich. And, of course, the Raiders were always saying that 7 and go long.
Yes.
And I think they're working the young quarterback into that long pass pattern.
As a matter of fact, didn't even tell us yesterday when we talked to him. He says, you know, when Tom Walsh calls these plays, I kind of feel in sync with him. And he told us in a previous weekend that I like to throw the ball short, let the receivers run. They're mixing in the play action. They're using Dickerson almost exclusively running the ball in the first half, and he's gotten some yards on the cutback. So this is more of what Art Shell, Al Davis, everyone expected of the Los Angeles Raiders in this 1992 season.
Tom Walsh, a longtime assistant with the Raiders, and he applied for the job when Mike Shanahan was let go by Al Davis. Walsh was one of those being considered. He was the former head coach at USIU down in San Diego, and now calling the plays, and you've got to give credit there as well.
Yeah, to his credit, Tom Walsh stayed here. A lot of coaches, after being kind of sidestepped by management, they go someplace else. Walsh, I think, is a little more in tune to Todd Marinovich, what he can do, and maybe more importantly, what he can't do, Dick. And he has limited the progression that Marinovich has to go through on these passes. He's cut the field in half. He's just made it a lot simpler for Todd Marinovich to come out there and be a professional quarterback and learn on the job.
And Marinovich gave him credit. He said, you know, I really know what to expect when I look to the sidelines that I can almost anticipate. Before, it was too many surprises for me. And as a youngster, didn't handle it well. As you look at Thurman Thomas slowly, and from that posture, it would appear that he's not happy about how he feels. Head down, 28 yards rushing in the first half, had only 33 last week against Miami. Foster had another good day for the Steelers. He apparently will be the AFC leader at the end of this weekend as the second half begins, and Tim Brown finds an open. No, it's Napoleon McCallum, who's out to the 31-yard line, and flags dot the Coliseum floor. Marinovich, a touchdown, little flare to Eric Dickerson, and a 52-yard play to Tim Brown.
82 on the return.
David Jones, don't call me Deacon, with the penalty. There was another David Jones, the Deacon, who wore 75 on this grass carpet for the LA Rams so brilliantly so many years.
I don't think Deacon ever covered any kicks or was on the kickoff return team for the Rams, so he was much to value as 1/4 of the fearsome foursome.
He covered quarterbacks. Thurman Thomas, the word we're getting now is that they're not sure if he'll return, and it's not the knee, it's the neck injury. I also understand that Lionel Washington of the Raiders won't play the rest of the day, groin injury. Marinovich comes out throwing and hits a 10-yarder. Willie Gault. Make that 15 to Gault.
Boy, is that a confidence builder as you see Bruce Smith getting up slowly. Been little or no factor in the pass rush today for the Buffalo Bills. This is beautifully timed and well thrown by Marinovich. Smith is the one. Steve Smith is the one who hits Bruce Smith as Bruce Smith gets up in the air, cuts his leg out from underneath him, and watch what happens. There you see Steve Smith 35 on Bruce Smith. And the trainers are out on the field to look at Bruce Smith.
It looked as if he landed on his wrist. And now being helped off the field. Boy, that was a nasty fall. He helped into the block by leaping to try to block the pass, and then Steve Smith with the low block.
So far this second half not starting well. A completion by the Los Angeles Raiders, beautifully thrown by Marinovich, and the Buffalo Bills' best pass rusher is walking to the sideline after a beautiful block by Steve Smith.
Smith in some pain. Mark Pike, number 94, a 6-year man from Georgia Tech, replaces Smith. He's a tough guy to replace. First down, just across the 30. The Raiders 17-3 as we start this second half. Eric Dickerson with a reasonable second half. Could move into the number 2 spot ahead of Tony Dorsett, all-time rushing yards in the NFL.
Well, he has certainly been the guy who has owned the ball here when it comes to running for the Los Angeles Raiders today.
29 yards is what he needed in this second half to match his number. Marcus Allen spot duty today. There's the all-time top 3. Wide open, the tight end Horton with flags down. Horton goes to the Buffalo 45. 22 yards if.
Boy, there was nobody close to Ethan Horton.
Illegal hands to the face mask, number 37.
Well, that's 3 penalties on Nate Odoms today.
Again on Willie Gault, and again the Bills want to try bump and run against these great receivers. He gets caught, hand up to the face mask. A little questionable there. And maybe more importantly, Ethan Horton had no one within 8 yards of him, and Marinovich found him.
So the penalty insignificant. The Raiders take the 22-yard pass play to the Buffalo 45. Gault to the left as Thurman Thomas and Bruce Smith on the sidelines. 2 great players out of action for the moment. Right through the hands of Gault, and there wasn't a Bill within 5 yards of him. It's not as if Marinovich is going to handcuff you.
No. He's not going to throw it through you, that's for sure. He has been accused of not having a strong enough arm. But look, Ken Stabler, number 12, didn't have one of the world's great arms. But if you're a timing passer, you have that sense of when the break is and where the guy is going to be. You can survive in this league. That was a very catchable ball. Should have been by Willie Gault. But it was inside. There can be traffic in there.
Inside handoff to Smith. And that was close to going for some good yardage. Bruce Smith is back in there. The tackle was made by veteran Keith Willis. Smith returns. That's the good news for Buffalo. The bad news quickly spotted on the Coliseum scoreboard with the Raiders 17-3 their lead and driving for more here on the first possession of the second half.
Dick, Buffalo defense looks tired. It's warm out here today, but they're standing there waiting for this play to happen, you know, with hands on hips, really gasping for air.
They got Odoms isolated on Galt on the bottom of your screen. They go the other way, incomplete, and spoiling that play was Shane Conlon. Conlon was right in the direction of the throw and leaping high, and Marinovich threw it over him and then away from the receiver Tim Brown.
Brown runs the in, and you're right, nobody sees this ball. Jackson falls down, Tim Brown tries for it, and Shane Conlon was a nice little screen there for everybody. But Marinovich is getting excellent time to throw the football here. No real pressure from the Buffalo Bills. Front four, front seven, whatever they're rushing at all.
Drive stalls. Fourth down at the Buffalo 42. And Gossett to punt. Clifford Hicks back at the 11. He lines it toward the corner, and he's got it. They mark it at the 7-yard line. Jeff Gossett. 12:21 remaining in the third quarter. Thurman Thomas during the commercial break and continues to try to run off his injury, stretching that neck. So Kenneth Davis is in the backfield behind Kelly. They start from the 7-yard line after the Gossett punt, and this is Davis. And they wrap him up after a yard. Aaron Wallace, number 51, who played at Texas A&M, the man from Paris, Texas.
And you know, that linebacker spot for the Raiders today has been a key ingredient to the Raiders stopping the Buffalo Bills running game.
Bills playing on a long field today. The quickie away from Lofton. He was looking for it inside. Torn Dorn the cover.
Dick, to get back to that inside linebacker, Aaron Wallace has been there. Also, Anthony Bell has been there, 51 and 59. They've not allowed the big, long run by Buffalo that you generally see the Bills come up with. Excellent job by those two inside guys, 59 and 51.
From his own end zone, a screen to Davis. Read well by the Raiders. He gets only to the 9, and it was Wallace and Bell again. Anthony Bell, the number 1 pick of the Phoenix Cardinals out of Michigan State in '86. Another Plan B pick of the Raiders, playing well.
Well, they're staying just off the line of scrimmage, spying on that running back. That time Kenneth Davis, and they are sure tacklers. They've done an excellent job.
Tim Brown back at the 45. Chris Moore. He hits a beauty. Driving Brown all the way to the 31. And skips out at the 36-yard line. A terrific punt by Chris Moore. 61 yards. His longest of the year was just in the 50s. 16 of the tennis greats, and there's a man who thrilled us in the 70s and 80s, Bjorn Borg. It'll be fun to see him again. Our buddy Stan Smith. Ken Rosewall. Got a chance to hit with Ken Rosewall. Man, I just get goose pimples thinking about it.
Did you get it over the net?
Yeah, once a little too good, and I paid the price for it. Drysdale, Tanner, Philo, Dibbs, Stolle, Nastasi, Labor. You'll see them all. That'll be the Jeep Eagle ATP Senior Tour Championship Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern here on NBC. From the 36, Eric Dickerson meets Shane Conlon. So they're trying to give Dickerson the yards. Interesting, there are comments amongst the Raider people that, you know, Eric Dickerson in most cities, there have been headline stories. Today's the day Dickerson goes, passes Tony Dorsett, number 2 all time. It was just a little hidden note here in Los Angeles. And there is a feeling that the press do not look at Dickerson as a very popular athlete, that he may not get his positive due, and maybe he's earned that position.
You mean because he left here, maybe? Went to Indianapolis, came back, is very quiet, is very much to himself here in L.A.
Does he go down hard? A clean shot for Darryl Talley. No one touched Talley.
They got him outnumbered, Dick. Just purely outnumbered, and Darryl Talley doesn't miss many opportunities like this. I don't know what happened, but you need to slide this way. You see Eric Dickerson, 29, ran right by Darryl Talley and right in the face for the first sack of the day for the Buffalo Bills. Excuse me, make it second sack of the day for the Buffalo Bills.
So that's Dickerson's man. He's got to read that man to make sure he's not coming first.
You can't turn anybody loose on your quarterback no matter what your pattern is. Block him, Mr. Dickerson.
3rd and 15. Another blitz and a great block, but Marinovich can't get rid of it. Bruce Smith has his first sack in a couple of weeks. It was Carlton Bailey who set it up, and Smith has his 6th sack of the season.
Well, you can see what the Buffalo Bills are doing. They can't get to him with force, so they bring the extra linebacker. Again, Dick, untouched. Nobody lays a glove on him. And then Bruce Smith shoves the offensive tackle back in there. Smith will get the credit, but Carlton Bailey made the play.
I believe that was Marcus Allen who did get there in time to knock Bailey off, but Bailey destroyed the rhythm of the play, and Smith came in to finish the job.
Allen, one of the best blockers in the history of the NFL as a running back.
Gossett and Tasker was shooting in where a possible block, and a flag is down. Tasker could have been offside. Clifford Hicks corralled number 42. Now let's check the penalty. Tasker trying to get a quick jump off that left wing. Is there anyone pound for pound tougher than Steve Tasker? I mean, we've seen him tackle and block and take blocks. It is offside against the Bills.
Yeah, but you know, when you take that kid's helmet off and you see him in the lobby, you think he's the mascot for the Buffalo Bills. He does not look like the player that he is.
Boy, he and Kelso, the two of them, scholarly and studious, and you'd say, hey, well, why are you in here? We're supposed to talk to you. And they're two tough players.
At other levels, you would look at those two kids and say, they got to be the coach's
offside. Defense, number 89.
So they'll punt it again. That won't help the Raiders other than they'll get 5 yards downfield. It'll bring up 4th and long. Tasker was lined up on the far side.
4th and 19 from the 28.
He does leave a little early. I think his own man may have drawn him offside. He was looking for any kind of movement. But hey, look, what's the damage? 5 yards? You try blocking it again.
He's in the same spot.
I'd go after this one too.
Hicks. And he has no chance as Gossett hits the sidelines. It'll be around the 34-yard line with 9:07 remaining in the 3rd period. Bruce Smith and the Buffalo Bills battling the temperatures. It's not extraordinarily hot, but it's in the 80s and bright sunshine. And there's right guard Glenn Parker from Arizona. He's a native of Southern California, and he is fond of what he calls personal art, wearable art. He designed those tattoos himself. He's about to get married. His bride said you can have only one more. He has 4 of them. He said they're tribal art. He said he's going to even do one around the University of Arizona logo. He says that's college time. I'm going to incorporate that into a whole new one. That'll be the 5th.
I can't wait to see what that one is.
Offside penalty as the pass goes to the tight end Metzelaars at the 41. Kerry McDaniel, the tackler. You ever think about getting a tattoo?
Not for a split second. But it is nice to have a conversation with a kid and get an art show. You know.
Offside against the Raiders, and they'll take the play. Parker, by the way, said it took 8 hours to do the one on the back.
Maybe that's his new tattoo. Harley. He is a big Harley Davidson.
Oh, that's an H up there.
H-A-R-L-E-Y.
Boy, you didn't do real well in art, did you?
I am not a tattoo artist. What can I tell you?
I asked him if it hurt. He said, oh, yeah, it hurts. So first down, Buffalo. They're down by 2 scores. Kelly just does get away. Davis does Dickerson as Aaron Wallace had him in his sights.
Good pressure by Howie Long, and again, 51 and 59. See him sitting off the line of scrimmage there? Howie Long right in Jim Kelly's face, does a good job avoiding that, but then here comes the kiss by Aaron Wallace.
He's regarded as the Raiders' best cover linebacker. Second and long. And they go long to Lofton. Off his fingertips at the Raiders 39. Torn Dorn over there. And Kelly again under pressure as he threw it.
Absolutely. Anthony Smith, 94. But Lofton this time, see, this is zone coverage. Dorn giving him a lot of room. Ball slightly overthrown. That's just been the story of the day for the Buffalo Bills. Just that much overthrown. Watch the pressure again. Smith from outside. Boy, this is normally a very good protecting offensive line.
Third and long. Kelly fumbles, and the Raiders have it at the 24. Anthony Smith hit Kelly from the blind side, and Townsend recovered.
Boy, Dick, once a quarterback starts to move left or right, you got to keep moving. He moves, stops, bam, target. Smith hits him. Townsend comes up with the recovery. And that, I think, was the we get in this game or we're done for the day drive for the Buffalo Bills. Again, outstanding pressure by the Raiders all day on Jim Kelly.
The second sack for Anthony Smith. Their number one pick 2 years ago. His rookie year sat out with an injury. He's got 4 sacks now for the season. From the 25-yard line. Dickerson for about 4. They're not coming easy, the yards for Dickerson, and it's not been an easy day for that man either.
Now, the Raiders have said all season long that if they don't turn the ball over, they're fine. You can see the problem Kelly's had today, turning it over. And the Bills have been very good at protecting the football, except for last week and through 3/4 of this week.
Dickerson, as he lines up behind Marinovich, needs 21 yards for the number 2 spot. He just did get around Bruce Smith, but gains maybe a half yard in the process. Smith was there.
Well, he jumps right inside a block. Watch what happens here. Right inside of Wilkerson and Dick. Whoop, wait a minute. Let me go someplace else here.
That isn't a hole after all. No gain. There's Bruce Smith, another big defensive play. Just under 7 minutes to play in the third quarter. The Raiders 17, the Bills 3.
Should come with a blitz here, Dick, if you're Buffalo.
Good play made by Carlton Bailey. It looked as if Marinovich had the first down, but Bailey got him at the 18, a couple of yards short. And Jeff Jager will come in for the field goal.
Dick, Buffalo looked confused by that formation there a little bit. They did come with a blitz. It was Carlton Bailey, but he was so far away, and Marinovich rolls away that he avoided the pass rush of Carlton Bailey.
36-yard attempt by Jager. This would really put Buffalo under the gun. It is good. The Bills need more than 2 touchdowns now as the Raiders enjoy a 20-3 lead. Raiders with a couple of turnovers today, and they've turned them into 10 points and now lead 20-3. Short kick. Davis. And the flag is down. Davis tackled at the 29. The flag thrown back at the 17. Anthony Bell made the tackle for the Raiders. Yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs, some were talking about the Eagles being unbeatable the way they took on and impressively defeated Dallas on Monday night. Kansas City invites them into Arrowhead, comes up with a win, and Dallas now back even with Philly at 5-1, and it'll be those two teams, the Chiefs and the Cowboys, matched up here on NBC next Sunday. That one will be one worth marking down. 12:30 Eastern Time for NFL Live. There are the other games some of you will see. The Patriots played gallantly in defeat against the Niners. Unbeaten is Miami. Houston impressive again today. Denver will play tomorrow night at Washington, and the Raiders will be up at Seattle.
Well, this Kansas City-Dallas game, you know, that's a home game for Lamar Hunt Jr., their owner. The team has to travel to Dallas. That's where Lamar Hunt Jr. lives. He's got to enjoy that game next Sunday.
Mark Pike, the man with the penalty. Lofton out of bounds at the 20-yard line. That'll be a first down.
Dick, it does look like now, as you look at Marinovich, the Raiders' choice here defensively with the lead that they have and time on their side. 5:31 to go in the third quarter. Going to be very soft in coverage here. Make sure none of these good fast receivers from Buffalo get too deep.
Davis. Boy, they have been tough against the run. The Raiders today. Aaron Wallace, another tackle.
It certainly worked. The design by Gunther Cunningham was to turn both Aaron Wallace and Anthony Bell loose behind the line of scrimmage. Man, they've made them all over the place.
Did they, Cunningham and the Raiders, learn anything from the Miami defense last week, I wonder? Kelly. Almost intercepted for a touchdown. It went through the hands of Reed and Winston. Moss was going the other way.
Let me answer your question about Miami. Every team is a copycat as you watch this almost interception. Intended for Davis again. Kelly just off a little bit. But I think the thing they learned is to use the two linebackers inside to bracket that receiver, whoever he is, out of the backfield, Davis or Thurman Thomas.
Bills are 2 for 10 on third down. Kelly goes deep for Brad Lamb, and he's well covered. Torn Dorn for the injured Lionel Washington, and the Bills will have to punt.
Certain amount of impatience here, desperation on Buffalo's part. They can't get things done short. Let's heave it deep, see what happens. But they end up now giving the ball back to the Raiders. They're running out of chances again.
Kelly's numbers under his touchdown lead in the NFL. He shared that with Chris Miller coming in, 11, but Miller had a couple today for the Falcons. Tim Brown at the 40. It's 10 fumbles, and it goes right to the Bills at the 43-yard line. It might have been the punter.
Steve Christie recovered.
Chris Moore, is it Moore? Yes, a rare fumble recovery by an NFL punter as Moore running upfield. The ball bounced to him. Tim Brown coughs it up.
He does get through the initial wave, and in trying to hang on to the ball, it just kind of slips away. And that's the price that punters pay for getting involved with tackling. Some sort of injury. Looked like they're looking at his leg.
Way up there. You're right, Bob Trumpy. Chris Moore did injure his knee, his left knee, the non-kicking knee. Watch, right into the helmet of his fellow player, Marcus Patton. And Moore did leave under his own power. More of a jam than something that twisted. The break for Buffalo that they desperately need. They get the turnover at the 44 in their own territory. Kelly goes to work. Tight end Metzelar's at the 49 short yardage. A gain of 5. Moss and Wallace with the tackle.
Nick, I will remind you that Buffalo has another speed to this offense. And with 4:18 to go in the third quarter, it's about time they get to that next speed, trailing 20-3.
Well, you saw them marvelous comeback last year. They were down by 13 in the fourth quarter. Got it to a tie and then won in overtime. Is that a catch? No. Incomplete. Incomplete. No play. And we may have a penalty on that return. It is not a fumble. It was called incomplete, but the play goes on, and because there was a face mask, there'll be a penalty on Kelly, I believe.
Well, he's had to be a part of a lot of tackles or assisting on tackles in the last couple of weeks. Not something he likes to do.
He's willing to make the contact, but you're right. We've seen him the last 2 weeks, and his name's too many on that defensive chart.
Yes.
Face mask, continuing action number 12.
Continuing action. That's saying, if it's continuing action, that's saying that this ball is then
a fumble.
Possession of the Los Angeles Raiders. Now this is 1-2. Ball is incomplete. There is the face mask. Huh. Interesting call.
15-yard. It's a big one all the way to the 34-yard line.
And Marvin's not sure he understands exactly what's going on here either. Yeah, he's saying, how can it be a continuing action foul when it was an incomplete pass?
One of those days, but it's been two of one of those days. Last Sunday at home against Miami, and again today in Los Angeles for the Bills. Kelly trying to strike long to Lofton. Dan Land, number 25, made the play.
Lofton is saying when Dan Land went over the top of him, he hit his head. Lofton talking to the official. This is great coverage by Landick. Lofton narrowing in on it. See the contact? He's saying before I had a chance to catch the ball, he knocked my head away. Incidental contact, both looking back at it, allowable.
Good play by the young man from Albany State of Georgia, where he was a running back for 4 years. He's one of those Raider projects. They've made a defensive player out of him. So Moore is okay. He punts and hits a beauty. Brown to the 14. And that isn't Tasker, but Chris Hale, who played at Southern California, downfield to make the stop. 53 yards for Moore, a -2 on the return. A reminder tonight, the presidential debates will follow our coverage of this game from Los Angeles, and then eyewitness video. And Lady Boss, that's a mini-series. Power and Lust go hand in hand. Lady Boss begins tonight on NBC, based on the best-selling work of author Jackie Collins. That's a terrific lineup for you, so stay tuned right here on the Peacock.
Well, Buffalo's got to be thinking one thing. Lots of blitzes. Turnover immediately. That's Jim Schaffner talking on the sideline with Jim Kelly. These last 2 weeks have not been good for that offensive side of the ball for Buffalo.
Raiders start from the 12. And Marcus Allen. Nothing there at all on the right side.
Now at this point, with Buffalo losing last week to Miami, you think, Miami's tough. They got a lot to prove psychologically, lift their team a lot. Now they come out here and lose to the Raiders. Now the Buffalo Bills inside got to be thinking, hey, wait a minute. What's changed? What's different? And is there something seriously wrong with this team in 1992 after winning 4 straight?
You don't have him in the lineup. That makes you different.
Right. Ken Hull not in the lineup makes you different.
Well, the Bills will have 2 weeks to sort it out. They have the bye coming up. 2 tight ends for the Raiders. 2nd and 9. To Smith underneath. Gets to the 17-yard line. Darryl Talley with a hit. And Marinovich throwing under pressure. Bruce Smith on top of the young quarterback.
The Bills are coming with a blitz, and what they're trying to do is isolate man on man. Try to get the double and triple teams away from Bruce Smith. We saw 35 Steve Smith release out there in the flat. Marinovich does make the completion. He's the hot receiver there, but this guy, Bruce Smith, I mean, he'll attract 2 and 3 guys on every single snap. I don't think there's anybody more tired at games in than Bruce Smith in the NFL.
And he's a 270-pound pinball the way they bounce him around for the 60 minutes. 2 minutes, 11 seconds left in the third. 3rd down and 5. Is it a catch? No, incomplete. As Kirby Jackson jars it out of the grasp of Mervin Fernandez. Jackson playing for the injured James Williams.
I think he would have, Fernandez would have had the recovery if in fact this had been counted as a reception. You're looking for control the ball, second foot down. Control, second. I know that's close, but whatever, incomplete pass.
Stops the clock with 2:05 left in the third period, so not a lot of time being consumed here in the third quarter with the Raiders leading 20-3, but Buffalo needs to strike offensively. Gossett, a dying spiral. And to the 50-yard line goes Clifford Hicks, 37-yard punt, 4 on the return. So the Bills with good field position at the 50, but they've yet to hit the end zone against the Raider defense today. Well, the Bills haven't had the equipment to match the Raiders thus far today as we close down in the third quarter. And Buffalo down by 17.
That is a tired-looking bunch, Dick.
The second half, 4 possessions, and their field position has been a bit better. With 3 punts and a fumble, they start. This is their best start of the game, right at the 50. Kenneth Davis has some blockers, 40. That's the best running play of the day for the Bills, 21 yards.
That's an interesting way to run the counter that was first made famous by the Washington Redskins. They run it to the near side. It's very odd. So either way, the 2 offensive linemen pull, Parker and Ballard. That's about 650 pounds out in front of you. Davis with a nice pickup. Very light for Buffalo.
Made the tackle, did Lott. Kelly, is that a mistake?
Yes.
He couldn't get the ball off to his running back, and so heads to the sidelines.
He apologizes to Kenneth Davis for not getting it to him. I don't know if he got this ball cleanly. A reminder once again, Kent Hull not playing center. Mitch Farrat is in at center. And it didn't look like he had a firm handle on the ball. Did not want to give the ball up, take a chance.
Final minute, third period. To the sidelines, open is Lofton, and he has a first down at the 16-yard line. 15 yards for Lofton. That adds to his all-time NFL record, most yards receiving.
He's so elegant when he runs the pattern, too. You can't sense how quickly he makes the break, how he comes out of the break, but mechanically, a beautiful receiver to watch.
Mom wanted him to be a cello player. He's still pretty proud of it. Kelly in a crowd, can't get rid of it. And flags are down. Andre Bruce, number 56.
He has done an excellent job of getting around Howard Ballard today. 3rd sack for the Raiders.
You need a token to get around Howard Ballard at 350 pounds.
At least. Cornelius Bennett named him. And he's as big as a house, and it's stuck.
Face mask, 5-yard penalty, number 56.
Oh, that's a break for Kelly and Buffalo. Instead of a sack, it'll go for a +5.
Bruce does make the this is a bull rush by Andre Bruce. Grabs a hold of the face mask, inadvertent.
The sack does count, and then the 5-yard penalty takes it to the 15-yard line. First down, Buffalo, the final seconds of the third period. First and 9, and Davis caught from behind by Howie Long. What a play by the veteran. He wouldn't let go.
Well, that Raider defensive line on the pass, on the run. Very active today for the Raiders.
We go to the fourth quarter after these messages from your local station.
Replacing Kent Hull, cannot get back to cut him off. This is the beginning of the counter tray run by Buffalo. Howie Long blows it up in the backfield.
Ball at the 20-yard line, 2nd and 14. To the end zone, Lofton. Not quite. Dan Land has his hands full, but has done a solid job working against Lofton.
Now, Kelly, normally a very good downfield thrower. Long, very accurate.
Thurman Thomas, excuse me, Bob, is back into the lineup for Buffalo.
He said all this week that the elbow did not bother Jim Kelly. He has not thrown the ball like his elbow is fine today.
That won't make it feel any better. The 4th sack, and Howie Long, the great pro of the Raiders, showing there's still some life left at 32.
Not tricky, just man on man.
-11. And Steve Christie will try now a long field goal to try to pull the Bills within 2 touchdowns. It's going to be 49 yards. Christie kicked one 52 against Indianapolis to tie the Buffalo record. It is no good, but a flag. Is there a flag down? No, it appeared the Raiders had jumped offside. No flag.
The missed opportunity, but the big play was the sack. Here's Howie Long. There's nothing fancy about this. I mean, there's no game, there's no twist. Moss comes inside, but Parker just gets shoved out of the way by Howie Long, who is right in Jim Kelly's face for the 4th sack of the day by the Raiders. This is more like the black and silver of the Los Angeles Raiders.
And more like the Howie Long that earned his way to 6 Pro Bowls and a great reputation around the league. Offenses have long feared number 75, Howie Long. The Raiders continue to dominate on this sunny day in Southern California, and Marinovich goes for more. Almost intercepted by Nate Odoms. It was intended for Willie Gold.
So what's going on here? You lead 20-3. You're in the 4th quarter. You got Eric Dickerson, who is less than 30 yards from second on the all-time rushing list. Not had a bad day. Why take a chance and put the ball up?
Saw Al Davis, and he has his critics, and he's earned those. But, you know, there are not many amongst the coaching fraternity itself. Coaches like Al Davis, because he's long been a friend, not just of his own coaches. In fact, remember Marv Levy told us when he was fired at California in 1963, Levy said the first call came from Al Davis, said, hey, you'll get another job,
Yeah.
I'll help you.
He said, though, he didn't offer me a job. He just called to tell me somebody will.
Marinovich getting rid of that one in an open spot under some duress. But if you ask Bill Walsh or Bill Parcells, a lot of other very successful coaches who had their lean years, often it was Al Davis, who was a very good friend from long distance, a lot of phone calls.
I mean, you look at the coaching staff and the management of the Los Angeles Raiders, it is filled with ex-Raiders. Jim Otto to Al Davis's left there. There are all kinds of ex-Raiders players somehow connected with this Los Angeles Raider organization.
Marinovich won for the last 6, stopping the clock with those incomplete throws. 3rd down and 10. And he'll lead it this time at the 17-yard line. The 4th Buffalo Bills sack. And Carlton Bailey has his first of the year.
I frankly don't understand this series by the Los Angeles Raiders, but it ends in the sack by Bailey. And in the second half, the Raiders have decided, here's Bailey, have decided they're going to try to rush 4 guys. Sometimes he runs over Steve Smith, which takes some doing, and is right in the face. And the Raiders keep giving Buffalo a chance. Buffalo's not taking advantage of these chances, but another opportunity here for Buffalo.
Gossett just does get it away as Tasker was in on him. Clifford Hicks. Too much side to side and not north and south. David Jones finally gets him a 50-yard punt, 6 yards on the return, and we have a timeout. Welcome back to the Coliseum with Bob Trumpy, Dick Enberg. Los Angeles Raiders with a 20-3 lead, but with that lead, to follow your point, Bob, they used only 42 seconds on that last possession.
Not a very smart one.
Kelly trying to find something, and that something is James Lofton. Lofton has been the man open, and Andre Reed has not. Ronnie Lott over there on the sidelines, and the chance to chat with him yesterday. Grew up in Washington, D.C., said where my heroes were Sonny Jurgensen and Larry Brown on the George Allen teams, and he said, I'd like men with heart. And he watches that Roy Firestone show, too, because he saw you on there, and he didn't like what you said about the Raiders.
Oh, is that right? Did you get that feeling?
I was a witness to it.
Really?
He had it down. Thurman Thomas. Finding the opening, and bad neck and all. He rips it into the 33-yard line. McDaniel catches him from behind, a 20-yard pickup.
If you want to continue on Ronnie Lott, the thing I like most about Ronnie Lott is that I asked him about his Super Bowl rings, and he said, well, I'm superstitious, and I tried to wear one and try to inspire the football team. We lost to Cincinnati. I put it back in the drawer. I'm not going to bring it out again.
Took it out for a week to show his teammates, say, hey, this is what we can get if we wake up here. Now, they've been alert today. Andre Reed does get a catch, and it's Lott who makes the tackle at the 13-yard line. So Reed, who led the NFL in catches and yardage received, has his 5th catch today, 72 yards.
He has been well covered.
And Lott, the other thing I liked about it, I said, I learned one thing from Hacksaw Reynolds. I'm going to go out of here kicking and screaming. They're going to have to retire me. I want to be Nolan Ryan, Dave Winfield of football. I'd like to play till I'm 40. Thurman Thomas. He's decked at the 6-yard line by Torn Dorn, number 46.
Nick, you see what they did there? This is the old pitch. Watch what Jim Kelly does with this ball. You used to see this in black and white. See, he just pitches it straight out there. Thurman Thomas isn't but 3 yards from the line of scrimmage. Richer right in front of him. Dorn hits him. Winston Moss hits him.
The number 1 offense in the NFL, the Buffalo Bills, have only 3 points today. And no, sir, denial from Nolan Harrison. This big physical tackle from Indiana, 285 pounds, has played very well 2 weeks in a row. 2 sacks last week against the Giants.
Ask him what his greatest attribute as a player was, and he says, strength. Brute strength.
Strong enough to rip out a teller machine and destroy it. Well, it was in Indiana when it ate up his credit card.
Seems a little extreme. I'd make him a defensive player after that if he wasn't before.
3rd down pass to Thomas, a terrific catch, but he's denied the 1st down by Ronnie Lott. So that'll bring up 4th down at about the 3. They'll need a yard plus for a 1st down with 11:04 left. 12 possessions for Marv Levy's team, and just a field goal for the top scoring team, the number 1 offensive team in the NFL.
And again for the 2nd week, Dick, in a row. We did them last week. Miami took the game away from them. So have the Raiders. You can't say that Buffalo has played poorly. The Raiders have shut them down.
This is the game for Buffalo. They've got to score here. And they don't. Broken up by Ronnie Lott.
And there he goes off the field, kicking and screaming.
Almost as if Lott invited Metzelaars in there, daring Kelly to throw it to him, and then rips it away.
Lott is on the left. You'll see Metzelaars bounces off of Moss. Lott right there. Absolutely right there.
Perfect timing, and he jars the ball free.
Some people have that sense of timing. I don't think it's something you acquire. You can't coach. You can't practice it. You just know when and how to make those plays. Lott's done it throughout his career.
Boy, he personifies defense, doesn't he? So the Bills denied again. Steve Smith, maybe a yard, with 10:27 left in the game.
The only guy I ever saw play strong safety the way he plays strong safety or safety was Jack Tatum. Both wore the same color, and Tatum was, they wrote that book, They Call Me Assassin. I think the one thing you can say about Jack Tatum is when he hits you, it was never cheap, because he wanted you to know It was him that delivered the blow.
And Lott has that same character. You know, he said something that I've only heard a few athletes say. Jimmy Connor says it in tennis. Magic Johnson says it in basketball. You have to love the game. Not love to play, love the check, love the rest. Love the game. And you believe him when Ronnie Lott told you that. Smith again for some yardage, but more for some time as it chews down to 9:33, 9:32 for Archell, looking for back-to-back wins and a game they figure they can win next Sunday up in the Kingdom.
Well, personally, this win has a great deal more style points to it than last week's win. Beating Buffalo here, I would think, means a lot more to the team psyche, the coaching staff, everybody. And beating Buffalo here.
3 years since they've lost 2 games in a row.
Well, I said it earlier, but it's worth repeating. Buffalo's loss last week was just a glitch. You know, stubbed your toe. Now 2 in a row from a 1-4 football team, the Los Angeles Raiders, the second time. Now we got some retooling to do, kids.
The bye could not.
Ball start. Defense, number 78.
The bye could not come at a better time.
Absolutely. They get Thurman Thomas well, whatever his problem is.
Keith McKellar's going to come back.
McKellar.
Their tight end. Gives them some added weaponry. 153 points in the first 4 games. That's closing on 40 a game, and only 13 in the Miami and this game. 1 touchdown against a team that Pepper Johnson called a bunch of ducks. Marcus Allen battling for a first down, and he is close. Well, and with that spot, he's got it.
What am I missing here? Where is Eric Dickerson? Does anyone in the Los Angeles Raider franchise, are they aware that here in the Coliseum he could become the number 2 all-time rusher in the history of the National Football League?
Instead of it happening next week up at Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, if I yell loud enough, will somebody down there understand what I'm saying?
No, most of us hear you even when you're in your normal tones.
20 yards.
First down for Marcus. Dickerson 20 yards away from the number 2 spot.
Now, I know Marcus Allen is the 3rd down back, but he has been in this entire series. So, Mr. Dickerson, insert yourself in the lineup there. Let's see him ascend to number 2 on the rushing list.
Using as much time as he can, young Marinovich. I'm going to throw the ball here to Steve Smith. And it's another first down as he plows to the 26-yard line, running right through safety man Henry Jones.
That is a play that the Raiders have come up with of late. It used to be that this team, when it threw the ball to backs, it threw almost exclusively to the running back. They very seldom threw to the fullback. But Steve Smith, along with being an excellent runner, a great blocker, now they're discovering he's a great receiver.
Teammate of Shane Conlon, and Conlon told us he's looking forward to this game because he knows that Smith is not going to try to finesse him. He'll come out and really lead block with all of his body.
They were one of the several co-captains on the Penn State football team, so he's been doing it all. We came in the same year at Penn State, we've been banging on each other's head all these years.
Marcus following Smith and then slips outside where he's wrestled down after maybe a yard gain. Cornelius Bennett and others.
Well, they have some deal here where Dickerson plays in the first half and Allen plays in the second half. Am I missing something here?
Marcus Allen not even used against the Giants last week. Didn't carry at least or catch a ball. Dickerson had a good first quarter. Maybe they wore him out.
What? I was thinking maybe even in odd numbers here. You know, 4 quarters, that's Allen. I'm not sure. But the record is within reach. 20 yards for Eric Dickerson.
6.5 minutes left. Looking for Marcus Allen, and then he throws to the tight end. Andrew Glover's first chance today. Shy of the first down. Conlon and Odoms with the tackle. Glover from Grambling, a second-year player. And the Bills don't need to see that.
Shane Conlon on the ground. He has the coverage, the shirt, and everything else. Conlon kind of rolls over the top there, but The Raiders have done a good job of throwing the ball underneath today.
Timeout with 6:14 to go. There's the press box booth of the Raiders Brain Trust, and there's Tom Walsh, who is now calling the plays for the Raiders. Walsh has been with the Raiders for 10 years now. He's also at the University of Cincinnati, Murray State. Some of your folks back there will remember him, and then the head coach of the University of San Diego for a while. To Allen, he needed a yard and a half, and he didn't get it at the 35. Stop Cole. Looked like Bruce Smith was in there. Marcus Patton as well. And timeout called by Buffalo. The attendance announced today, 52,287 at the Coliseum. They had in the high 80s, I think, last year for this game. But, of course, at that time, the Raiders were thinking big thoughts about playoffs. They had 86,746 to be exact last year. This is the biggest crowd of the home season thus far, 52,287. Raiders and Rams have had strong winning traditions, but neither team has drawn until today 50,000 fans to a home game this year. So the punt team on, and we can look forward to next week. The Raiders will be at Seattle. The Bills will have their bye, and the big game, Kansas City and the Dallas Cowboys. The Chiefs trying to play off their big win today against the Eagles at home. Gossett gets it away. Hicks to the sidelines. Tackled, a good play by the rookie Derek Hoskins. Hoskins, who is the heir apparent to Ronnie Lott's safety position. A talented rookie they like very much here. He's from Southern Mississippi, was their 5th-round pick.
You know, Dick, you mentioned the Kansas City-Dallas game we have next week. Last game I did that involved Jimmy Johnson was his national championship win down in the Orange Bowl in Miami. It'll be nice to see Jimmy Johnson again next week.
I know he's anxious to see our producer John Paratzis as well. They're old buddies.
Jim Kelly, a quarterback.
And of course, Marty Schottenheimer will be matching strategies with Johnson. Lofton underneath and pushed out of bounds at the 43-yard line. James Lofton has had a busy day, the busiest of the Bills. He played 2 years here with the Raiders. 5 catches for James, 90 yards added to his record total. Clock running at 5:28. Kelly underneath to the tight end Metzelaars for 5 yards. The Raiders will give the Bills all of that they can eat. Winston Moss makes the tackle.
You know, Dick, I must tell you that for the second week in a row now, there is a defense that appears to have a real bad effect on Buffalo's offense, and that's one that this is a nickel package that the Raiders have run almost all day. A 4-man rush, 2 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. And that's essentially what Miami did. They had 2 defensive linemen, a combination of 4 linebackers and 5 defensive backs. And the NFL coaches and coaching staffs are huge copycats. And when they find one defensive coordinator, Tom Olivadotti, who comes up with a system that works, Gunther Cunningham of the Los Angeles Raiders says, let's try this week, gentlemen. And the 2 guys who have had big games for the Raiders, Bell and Wallace, in those inside linebacker positions.
Metzelaars, the tight end, gets a first down at the Raider 44 with Ronnie Lott. Make it Eddie Anderson this time with a tackle. And Kelly, whose new book is a bestseller around the country, Armed and Dangerous. And he has been that through most of his career, but not these last 2 weeks. Getting some duty, and he runs hard to get a yard.
But, you know, you put Jim Kelly in a special category. It's 20-3, 14 to go in the game. He's got a bad elbow. He's been on the ground all day long. Grass stain everywhere. He is in there slugging. He is still firing it down the field.
He loves the game.
Yes, he's a Ronnie Lott type.
4 minutes to go. The Raiders with a very impressive day. Oh, tough catch made. It looked like the ball might have been tipped as well as Andre Reed pulls it down with Lott right there breathing in his face, and Reed right about his average. averaging 7 catches a game through the first 5, and he has 6 today for 85 yards, but limps out.
Now we did the Buffalo Bills versus San Francisco, and big difference between today and that game and last week against Miami. No receivers caught the ball running today.
Complete to Brad Lamb, and he pays the price. You know who when they hit him like that.
Running line. But the Bills have run hooks, they've run outs, they've not run the slants or the posts and made the completions. And when you can get guys with this speed stopped catching the ball, and you can hit them like that, I mean, that's basically going through the receiver.
Now the Bills aren't going to win this game, but this is a character drive for them. They're trying to get a score. That was Kelly throwing it away. And he's going to call in the grasp and control, says Pat Haggerty. It is not an incomplete pass, but another sack. Howie Long will get credit for this one. Number 5 for the Raider defense.
Again, Kelly staying with the play. Long around Parker again, 74. And that's Howie Long's second sack of the day. Your point about the character drive?
Now this is, they need a touchdown. This is a high potent offense. They scored 1 last week and they have none today. And a tough throw through traffic to Eddie Fuller, Terry McDaniel, the defender, with 2:33 left. And if nothing else, the Raiders have made the Bills use a lot of time getting down there.
And again, great pressure on Kelly. This time Harrison. That may be as grass-stained as Jim Kelly's uniform has been in the last 2 or 3 years playing this game.
Andre Bruce had a piece of him too, and Bruce has been in that backfield all day. Look at that. Those are numbers that are painful. Oh, into a crowd was Fuller, and part of Lott himself was a crowd, but when there are more jerseys around, that had injury written on that throw.
You know, players like Lott, my football playing career is just a distant memory, but these guys also make noise when they come up. Ah, you can hear them coming.
Oh, do they really?
Not only feel them coming, you can hear them coming.
Knocked down. It was Aaron Wallace. He's had the big game. And that takes us to the 2-minute timeout. It must seem like 2 years for Kelly.
Well, they have mixed in the blitz. They've used Wallace and other people in coverage. It's worked beautifully for the Los Angeles Raiders defensively today.
Well, as we said earlier, we asked Al Davis, are you getting too old? Are they the sober and gray, not the sober and black? His answer was, we need mature players like Ronnie Lott. He certainly is well appreciated today. Marcus Allen dragged down by Henry Jones. A first down for Allen, 13 yards.
Now that's the defensive coordinator, Gunther Cunningham, and Mr. Cunningham certainly recognizes greatness
and leadership. You know, what players like Lott give a team, you can't measure in just what you see on the field. You know, there's some guys that just won't let the other guys lose.
Yeah. I think it's easy to pick out the leaders when you win. When you lose is where you find out who the leaders are. Marcus Allen 2 weeks ago with 3 meetings. Ronnie Lott has taken Todd Marinovich aside several times, tried to coach him through this, making him a more mature player. That's where you find your leader.
Well, that's a terrific point. Here comes Allen. He's close to another first down at the 37-38-yard line, tackled by Mark Maddox. As Marv Levy uses some of his backup players.
And thankfully he does not use any remaining timeouts.
Now here's a real startling stat on the Buffalo side. Jim Kelly has passed, although only 3 points, for 302 yards today. It's the first time in Buffalo history a passer has thrown 3 straight games 300 yards or more. Isn't that startling?
Yeah.
He gets 302 today, but you wouldn't know it by what we've... I mean, just don't feel like he's gotten that much yardage.
With the hash marks moved in, that 300 yards passing is maybe the most overrated statistic offensively there is in the game today.
It just hadn't happened until now. First down yardage out to the 41 for Marcus. the all-time rushing leader in Raider history. Pride and joy of San Diego, California. Jim Kelly already working on the next one. 13 possessions for Buffalo, 3 points. Their worst offensive game in 4 years. Final play coming up. Bills aren't going to use a timeout. And for the Raiders, what will this do to them? They'll be 2-4. They've got Seattle, and then they've got to entertain Dallas, then they get their bye, and then the Eagles, so it won't be easy. Marinovich, back-to-back wins, throws the ball 8 rows back. That's his longest throw of the day. 6-5, final seconds tick away. Marinovich will be in the shower before the gun sounds.
He'll be on the surf before the sun sets.
Well, folks, you better erase the eulogies. They're not dead yet. The Raiders 20, Buffalo 3. Coming up next, NFL Live Old Spice postgame report with Bob Costas. All the scores and highlights around the NFL. For Bob Trumpy, I'm Dick Enberg. This has been NBC Sports coverage of the NFL.
This is the Old Spice NFL Live postgame report. Brought to you by Old Spice Fragrance and Deodorant.
Hi again, Bob Costas back in New York. We'll run through all the scores for you. Then, after a break, we'll send it out to St. Louis and pick up Tom Brokaw's coverage of the first of the series of presidential debates. In the game you folks just saw, the Raiders win their second, and Buffalo loses its second in succession. Raiders in control throughout, and they're victorious at the Coliseum, 20-3. Elsewhere, Houston over Cincinnati, 38-24. Huge days for Warren Moon, who threw 5 touchdown passes, and Lorenzo White, who ran for a career-best 152 yards. The Jets and the Colts in a scintillating game at the Hoosier Dome, now in overtime, trying to resolve this monumental conflict, tied at 3 apiece. The Jets hit a field goal in the last 30 seconds of regulation to send it into the extra session. And glancing over, it's the Colts who have the ball right now, but they are not threatening at the moment, but they do have the ball at the beginning of overtime. Now, these are finals from earlier today. Dallas all over Seattle. The Cowboys take their record to 4-1 with a 27-0 victory over the Seahawks. Atlanta had a lead of 17-7 at Miami, but the Dolphins came from behind. They win 21-17. The Dolphins now 5-0 in this, the 20th anniversary season of their perfect year in 1972, and they are now the only undefeated team in the league because Philadelphia lost at Kansas City 24-17. David Craig threw 3 touchdown passes for Kansas City, and Randall Cunningham was sacked 6 times by the Chiefs defense. Cunningham did rally the Chiefs from a 24-3 deficit in the fourth quarter, but they come up a touchdown short. So Kansas City is now 4-2, and the Eagles are 4-1. San Francisco wins at New England 24-12, and San Francisco is now 5-1, while the Patriots are 0-5. Pittsburgh a loser at Cleveland. The Browns win this one 17-9, and the Giants got 167 rushing yards from Rodney Hampton, including a 63-yard touchdown run against the Phoenix Cardinals at the Meadowlands, and the Giants prevail in this one 31-21. So the Giants take their record to 2-3, while Phoenix, coming back down to earth after their upset win at home last week against Washington, sees their record go to 1 up and 4 down. So here's what we're going to do. We'll bid you so long for this football Sunday.